Here's Brent's Premier fly, and it's actually called Brent's Premier. It's a very, very versatile pattern, mainly because it imitates so many different food items. Make sure you have these materials ready before you tie the fly. For the hook, we're going to use a 1x long size 8 nymph, some 6/0 brown thread to tie with, some peacock chenille for the body. For the hackle, we'll use a brown saddle hackle, and for the shell back and tail, we use some moose body hair.
The next fly we'll tie here is called Brent's Premier. Really, this is a pattern that I got from a gentleman out in Premier Lake, British Columbia a few years ago, and the fishing was really tough. He's the only fellow that put any fish in his boat that day. The rest of us went without, so I'd give him credit for the name of the fly if I knew who he was, and maybe someday I'll run across him. I did change the pattern a little bit, but I think I found out why this pattern works so well. Now, we've fished this fly in just about every zone, right from the depth of the lake right to the top water, with very slow sink intermediate lines, floating lines, to full sink lines at different levels, and we think they're taking it for caddis, pupa, or also beetle larvae, which many people don't fish a beetle pattern, and beetle larvae are very much a big food item for trout. So, and it's also a very, very easy fly to tie. It's quick, and the fish love to eat it. So the emerald green is really important for the body color. So you can get this peacock green. This is a glow bright chenille, and also one of the nicest things happened with fly tying materials for a number of years with all these synthetics that keep coming out, but they've actually started dyeing peacock herl. Now this is a really nice bright green peacock herl, and that is we know how great peacock herl is in so many patterns. So I'm going to take a generous bunch of peacock herl here, if you will. Now when I do tie in peacock herl, we've varied off the recipe what Don gave you earlier, but I just want to demonstrate something here in the peacock herl for you because it's such a good material. I tie in a generous amount of that, probably a dozen strands. I tie it in by the tips, throw in my half hitch here, and when I pull it back, it gets buggier. If you tie it in by the butts, you actually flatten it out as you work ahead. So I'm going to go forward, and now I'm just going to spin it into a peacock herl rope, which makes it very, very durable. Gives me that iridescence of peacock herl. It's that emerald green I'm looking for. I can tie it off right there. It's just an awesome material, folks. So that is another thing we want to keep in mind. Now, the success of this fly, I believe, I'm not sure, but this was my thoughts on this, is the moose body hair. It's very buoyant. This fly would be a neutral buoyant fly, and it's won't sink and it won't float. It'll stay in the zone for a very long time. As long as you have the fly line to take it and keep it in the zone for a long period of time, this is the fly that'll do it for you. I'm going to get the little bit under fur out of the moose body hair so it'll stack. Put the tips in my stacker. I'll take it out opposite because I'm going to tie this shell back over the front. I usually stack up a little bit more than I need. Now you see that's a little bit longer in the body. I would have that much extra tail sticking out, which would be a little bit more than I want. I'll just pinch off the desired amount of moose here, and I'm just going to pinch it on either side of the hook shank and get a few good solid turns down here. I want it to hold, and I'm right behind the eye. The butts I'm going to trim off at an angle so I don't get too big a lump there when I pull it back. Then we'll just go to some brown hackle. This saddle hackle, we want something that'll swim a little bit. This is furnace, which the furnace has actually a black stripe down the center of it. Any brown will be fine. I'm going to tie it in right front there. I got a little butt that I'm going to trim off. I see a little butt of moose hair hanging out there. We'll do that. Now I'm just going to take the thread and the hackle back together to the bend of the hook. There we go. I'll tie it off at the rear. Pull it off because the thread's actually got it secured down. I'm just going to pull my moose over the top. When I pull it, it'll tighten it right down. See, I've grabbed a little bit of hackle here. I can use a bodkin if I had one handy here. I don't. I'm just going to use my scissors to tease that out. I've got a hair hanging loose here. We'll trim that out of there for now. Finish it off at the back of the fly. Lots of turns, good solid turns. My whip finish, saw it off. That completes the fly, or almost completes the fly. What you want to do, which is really important, on a fullback pattern, you'll notice that the hackle is spun on, and you'll see it sticking up and out from the side. If you fish a fly like that, it'll spin in the water, and the fish will know it's a fake. A spinning fly like that, they will not touch. Your chances are very limited. So what I've done, what I'll do here is trim down on the sides of the fly about a 45-degree angle. Do that on all your fullback scopes. Make sure you don't cut any of the shell back. But you see the legs coming off the bottom of the fly here now? It's very much, that fly will fish naturally. It'll stay with the point down all the time. It'll swim the way it should.
To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca. And if you would like to book an adventure like this one shown, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.